everyone. Welcome back to the Good Doctor's continuing coverage of Glow.
We hope continuing after this.
We hope after this. This is the last chunk of episodes that are available on Netflix. We're talking about season 3, episodes 6 through 10, which season 3 just launched a few weeks ago in the Netflix world. Who really knows? Recently. We haven't heard any news about a season 4. They certainly set it up and left it open for a season 4 and for plot lines going forward, which we'll talk about a little bit at the end. But we don't know. So hopefully we have more Glow. But we really want to talk about these 5 episodes because, oh boy.
We have a lot of things to say. And we are, by the way, the Good Doctors. I'm Dr. Kristen.
I'm Dr. Erin. And if you didn't already know
If you didn't meet us before, if you're getting this shared because we say something really deep and profound.
Yes.
Which we occasionally stumble onto. So
almost entirely by accident.
Entirely by accident. In terms of there's 2 categories of events we want to talk about in the next couple minutes. The first is a real thought for leadership and business development, which is of course what we do professionally.
What
so
we
we want to bring that up, and then some, as fans of the show, things we were excited by.
Yes.
So the main takeaway to learn from this, to kind of pay attention to in terms of human dynamics, is the fact that these 5 episodes really focused on the importance of giving people space to be themselves and to communicate beyond trite stereotypes of who they are, to allow people in your life to experience the fullness of who they are. And all of that sounds like Hallmark cards. We get it. Like that sounds really fortune cookie wisdom, like, oh yeah, that fits on a bumper sticker. I mean, fit any other cliche in here. But in one of the truths of our jobs, we have found that nearly everything is really easy, but nothing is simple.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really easy to create space. You just do it. Okay, but the just do it bit is the hard part.
And what do you do with that space? And how do you help people feel comfortable enough to be vulnerable within that space? And a lot about that is building community and building trust, which we really, really see in this show, particularly in episode 6, when they're in the wilderness of Red Rock Canyon and on their outward bound trip. There's a lot of emotional vulnerability that takes place, a lot of radical honesty from Jenny in particular about her grappling with portraying a horribly racist stereotype as a fortune cookie and someone who escaped and emigrated to America, escaping the killing fields and the persecution of her home country, which is a really, really heavy thing on an evening which they celebrate a Passover Seder, and Melrose talks about her intergenerational trauma and experiences of the Holocaust in her family. So it was some heavy emotional hitting.
Yeah.
But because they had created this space where these women felt comfortable in doing that, there were some really powerful and really beautiful moments.
And there's also something to be said for that. Usually the loudest voice in a particular situation is often the one that has to give permission for that to happen at first. I've been in many situations in my work and then in our work on intergenerational trauma and conflict management, where somebody has to go first, and that bravery gives permission for other people, as long as the person doing that is also creating space. And there's a real way to do that. And how Melrose does that in this episode is a great example of it. And she fumbles her way to it. It's not intentional. God love Melrose. She is a train wreck in a china shop. But by just saying, like, my father has to have a basement and an attic because we might have to hide people again. Yeah. And not explaining past that, not just that statement then gave Jenny permission in a way to really get honest within that particular moment of that. After they've already done all this other work, you often still need the brave moment to kick off the event.
Yes, and what that also started the thought process along this trip for Artie and dealing with her own sexuality. So it gave her space to even start thinking about it. And we see her thought process carried through the last couple of episodes as well, as she tries to figure out who she is.
Yeah.
And struggles with putting a label on herself until the end of the episode, in which she comes out and tells everyone that she's gay and finds this new sense of pride and activism because she was given the space to even have those thoughts and go through that process. with the support of the people around her, which was really cool to see.
The desert also gave Sheila some time to decide if she wanted to continue to be a wolf or figure out who Sheila was outside of the corset. I don't cry at art that much anymore, but I was real close when she threw that corset on the fire. Like I was real close.
I cried that whole end of the episode.
Yeah.
But when she says, it was getting in my way.
Oh God. And the next 4 episodes, we see that that's exactly what it was doing.
Yes. And she is free and she is acting and she's fabulous. And we're here for Sheila.
We're here for it.
We love our Sheila.
In terms of other people that needed space in this season, these back 5 episodes were Debbie and Bash.
Yes.
And very interestingly, they found that space in each other.
Yeah.
Which is a really fun dynamic.
I enjoyed that because I didn't see it coming.
No.
At all. Yeah.
So the telegraphing they've been doing for the last 3 seasons that Bash was in fact gay was in fact true.
Yes. We have confirmation. On our fan theory.
Out of Chris Lowell's sweet tortured face.
Bless him. A lot of acting for that man.
He did a lot of work in these back couple episodes. And the line that got me, and this is a continual thing that, I hope we get to talk about it for a whole other season, is that in the 1980s, for a lot of people, when you read memoirs of folks who were coming out and struggling with their sexuality in the 80s and 90s, over and over again, you read the concept of, I was really afraid that I was going to die.
Yeah. And especially men too, because I think they've done that really well with RT. Because even AIDS,
there was a myth,
as the myth that AIDS was only men were dying from it.
And we are in 1986 at this point, which is the kind of the cusp, the turning point where we have some answers, about AIDS, but not nearly enough to do anything about it.
Yeah. So I just thought of this now as we were talking about it. That was really interesting because, and she's not even a part of that community, but even Yolanda, who was her girlfriend, who is an out lesbian, that's not really something she talks about as a part of her lesbianism, but it is clearly a panic issue for Bash, particularly, especially because of what happened with Florian.
But the more, when you read works from other people, like it was no experience is universal, but that was a predominant theme for sure. And I think we see that in the AIDS fundraising event as well.
Yeah.
And some of the kind of like need to raise this money. And how we were going to do it was really interesting. And Debbie finally finds a space in which she is not just a body. She finally finds a space in which she's a brain.
And she had to fight her way through it in the last few episodes. And it was
gorgeous.
It was great to see. And Betty Gilpin is doing a hell of a job acting.
She really is.
But she her boyfriend Tex kind of uses her as arm candy. And all of this time she is frustrated with Bash and Sam because she wants to be an active producer, and she's juggling dealing with being a mother in Las Vegas and producing and dealing with all of these men trying to keep her out of these positions of power. And she, to the great peril of Tex and his supposed deal,
she has a brain.
She was underestimated one too many times, and she uses that razor sharp wit to steal the deal out from under him.
God, did I cheer.
Turn herself into the president of the new
Bash Howard Network.
Bash Howard Network that they've just purposed, and given herself all of this power and control over telling her own story and the types of stories and characters she wants to develop. So, that was phenomenal.
I loved it.
It exploded a little bit in her face because she projected a lot of those thoughts and feelings and emotions onto our Ruth, who is on her own particular struggle bus. But it was wonderful to see that. And the fact that her and Bash found that like space together and made that decision together. I'll protect you if you protect me. She is now the only person that knows his secret, really.
Yeah.
That he was that vulnerable with. So,
and I loved it too. Like, as you see in episodes, like, let's say 3 to 9, his hair gets increasingly insane. his outfits are nuts. Like, it's really intense. And then in the scene where he is once again Bash Howard doing deals and like who he is in and of himself, his hair is clean and washed. He looks like Chris Lowell again. Yeah. Like, it's like, okay, I've shed that one layer of performance, and here is the one person I can be really, really vulnerable with. And I also thought too about the different definitions of mothering.
Yeah.
Because in that moment where Bash tells Debbie who he is, she mothers him and cares for him and gets him to the point where he can physically get up off the floor. And that, to me, that's really holy and a really intense calling of people in relationship with each other. We've all mothered each other in some ways, and that's really intense. So I, top to bottom, loved that journey.
Yes. Some other things that we thought were really amazing. We loved how they dealt with kind of the spectrum of women's experiences and even talking about age.
Yes, with Tomei.
With Tomei, and how they, as a community, they found a way to have her keep her job but not put herself in physical danger. We love Carmen. We love Carmen so much. Carmen wrestling with Cherry was amazing.
Carmen just being Carmen.
Carmen deciding to pull everyone out of the doldrums and run a Christmas show so that they could get to be creative. And
Carmen going on dates.
Do something different. Yes, all of the Carmen was amazing.
Loving that Justine is living her best life.
Yes, and got, her movie is going to get made and threw Billy to the curb because I always thought he was a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
And then we have Ruth as well, who's one of the big main characters we've been following. I understand her storyline. I understand what she did with Sam. Am I happy about it? Absolutely not. She's still being a child, 100%.
I worry.
We have both decided going forward that we really, really hope the season 4 is the last season. There's an economy of storytelling that this show has done really well.
And they're running out of steam.
I thought this whole season was brilliant. I loved what they did with them. I would love to see a season of Debbie being a producer, the girls getting to come up with new characters.
I want Justine's movie premiere.
Hopefully, because I'm a diehard romantic at my very core, Ruth figuring out her BS
with Sammy
and sorting things out with Sam. And I'd like it to all kind of end with, we don't know what happens to them, but this was a journey in their lives for a couple of years. And look at this community of women that's come out of it. So they set it up that way, that there's a season 4. Hopefully.
We don't know.
We never know what our dear Netflix does.
God love them.
With ratings and how they decide whether shows get renewed or canceled. But
who knows? And Alison Brie,
take this as our plea, Netflix.
Yeah. Hi, Netflix.
Hi.
Alison Brie did an interview last week, I think when she was at TIFF, saying please, everyone pressure them because we really want a season 4. So
get on the social medias, watch our videos, share them.
Hashtag it.
Tweet at Glow all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's a fantastic story. We're going to share a link to how this season dealt with LGBTQ+ representation particularly. But any feminist out there who loves a show written by women, told by women, about women.
Any human out there,
give this show a couple of likes and hopefully we can maybe get some resolution to some of these characters.
It'd be really great.
In the last season. So we'll be back for Glow coverage, hopefully. That wraps up what we have to talk about for them. Up next, we're going to do a one-off video about one of our favorite shows, The West Wing. We're going to do a couple of Hallmark Christmas movies a little bit early.
Because Hallmark.
And Christmas. And then we will return with our continuing coverage of Netflix's The Crown.
Which we also call Broach Watch.
Broach Watch.
With Queen Olivia Colman.
We are so ready for Olivia Colman in our lives, and we hope you are too. But that's all we have for Glow Season 3, Episodes 6 through 10.
Guys, it's been a journey. Thanks for being on it with us. I'm Dr. Kristen.
I'm Dr. Erin.
And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.